Okay, so dear Dharma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body and keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound, and while you focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened one. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes to understand how this practice can help us to develop our awareness. Because developing awareness is the very key point we have to focus. Once you have the awareness, from that point, your wisdom can grow on the top of that. So, developing awareness is one of the fundamental quality that only human beings can do. But at the same time, you have to remember, it is not happen just overnight, or it's not going to happen just because you do one day meditation. And awareness itself is not a kind of like a silver bullet. It also depending on some other things. Because fundamentally, this everything, our experience, reality, awareness, understanding, this all depending on something. It is not single, independent, isolated event. It's always a result of something. That's why always you have to remember the foundation of this all teachings is cause and condition. So when it comes to our life, even in the conventional world, people always like to experience calmness, tranquility state, happiness, that kind of things. But at the same time, people have deeper struggle to stay away from anger, hatred, jealousy, frustration, delusion, this kind of things. But as example, anger. So anger is not a very single event that happened in you. It's a result of something. But most of time people try to focus to anger and try to throw it away or detach it or withdraw it or resist it, thinking it as a kind of like a separate thing. We keep all other things around us and we try to keep away the anger. But the thing is, if the anger arises, it's a result of that everything, whatever arises around us. So then what you need to do? So you have to go to the very bottom, go to the depth, go deeper and see the mechanism. So when it comes to a house, even though we experience the roof, walls, the very key important part is foundation. So the walls and the roof itself not going to be without a foundation. So then, are you aware about the foundation or are you mostly enjoy the walls and the roof? When it comes to our day-to-day life, even in the very conventional level, one of the important things that you have to remember, first we have to get into this, our human nature. So awareness already within us, but it in separate places. And because of that, our the maximum ability as human beings, we can't perform. So in the ancient time, people used to think there are things disturb us. So then it is better destroy it or we stay away from it. Two different ways. Still, there are some people still practice that. When something disturbs you, you think if you destroy it, it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Or maybe you stay away. But when it comes to deeper this mental mechanism, it is not like that. So how this things happens? So basically, as human beings, we have these 6 faculties: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So we always go towards the eye object, ear object, nose object, tongue object, body object, mind object. So it's around us. And once we have the contact with once we start to think about the objects, what happens? Attachment going to arise. If you never saw something, there's no attachment towards it. If you never heard about anything, then there is no attachment about it. So the very first thing, you saw, you heard, you smell, you taste, you felt, and as ideas it came to you, even that idea somewhere you collected, and that is where the attachment arises. So attachments, 3 kind of things: pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. And because of the attachment, what happens? Desire arises. So the arising means here, it related to the attachment. And according to the condition of the attachment, according to the quality of the attachment, as a result of that, desire arises. So the desire is not part of the attachment. You can't separate it, but still you can experience as something different. So because of the attachment, desire arises. So the attachment arises because of the contact. Contact arises because of you have eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, and then we are living in the world, this outside objects. And once the desire arises, as a result of that, because of the desire, anger arises. So when there is no desire, no anger. But most of the time people, they keep the desire and try to fight with the anger, believing it is something separate. No, it is a result of something. And the anger, what the anger does, when the anger arises, it creates, because of the anger, delusion arise. What is the delusion here means? So the delusion means misunderstanding, misinterpretation. When you see if something kind of like a white color, and then you start to see it as a black color, which is not there. So that is delusion. So basically, ultimate delusion is impermanent, we take as permanent. Unsatisfaction, we take as the satisfaction. Selflessness, we take as the self. And in day-to-day life, there are many things happens because of the delusion. So the anger create the delusion. And because of the delusion, confusion arises. It kind of like confusion here cannot recognize its true nature. And cannot have the confidence about it. So then once the confusion arises, it affects for our human memory. So that is very important, that the memory here means that whatever conventionally what we experience and what you know, this is all related to memory. Even the tranquility state also sometimes mentioned as the memory, remembering. So somehow that in the conventional world, memory is one of important part. And at the same time, when you attain to enlightenment, what happens? You start to remember everything. Everything means it's kind of like when a situation happens, if there is an incident, according to that incident, you start to see all the cause and effect. So here memory, it's not a kind of like related to date and time sometimes, but that also included. But mostly what you see, you start to see the cause and effect. So once the memory destroy, it deeply affect for your intellect. So this intellect is the key point. As human beings, we need to develop in the conventional world. Because as a result of the intellect, the wisdom arises. So then, remember the beginning. So the wisdom arise as a result of intellect. So we reverse the pattern. Intellect arise as a result of memory. But the thing is, memory get affected by confusion. Confusion get affected by delusion. Delusion get affected by anger. Anger get affected by attachment. Attachment get affected by contact. So we have the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, and always we are around objects. And then when the contact happen, attachment arise. Because of the attachment, desire arise. Because of the desire, anger arise. Because of the anger, delusion arise. Because of the delusion, confusion arise. Because of the confusion, it affect for the memory. Because of the confusion, destroy the memory. Once the memory destroy, it affect for your intellect. Once it affect for your intellect, it destroy your wisdom. So then go to the beginning. With our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, eye object, ear object, nose object, tongue object, body object, mind object. When the contact happen, attachment arise. So this is what used to believe before the Buddha. Remember that. Try to understand it very clearly. That is why most of in the yogic tradition, this ascetic practice, very hard, difficult ascetic practice, they used to do to stay away from attachment, contact. And when something is there, they don't look about it. Still there are some shadow of that practice we still see. And according to the culture, tradition, sometimes we try to stay away from contact. Why? We think that the contact brings the attachment. That's why sometimes people say, don't look, don't hear, don't see, don't eat, don't associate people, don't think about it. So kind of like that. But that is not the key point that this all arise. Remember, when you see something as because of that contact, attachment not going to arise. Try to understand it very clearly. Because of you saw something, heard something, smelled something, feel something, touch something, eat something, even you think about something, the attachment not going to arise. So how the attachment arise? So the attachment or the contact arise when you start to repeat the thinking. That is the key point. What you saw is not going to bring attachment. Once you see it, what happens? You start to keep thinking. Once you heard, just hearing not going to bring attachment. What you heard, you start to keep thinking. So once you start to think, that is where the attachment happens. So then nothing wrong with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, faculties, nothing wrong with the world. Then what is wrong? Our inner behavior. So we don't have the power to guide our mind. Because of that, we try to destroy the world. That is bad, this is bad. So kind of like that, this is not good, and because of that, you have to destroy it. Or maybe you stay away from things. You resist the world, you resist this objective world to protect this subjective mind. But ultimately, if you look very carefully, you are a very weak person. That's why you struggle with the world, because your mind is very weak. You know yourself, in case if you see something, you're going to think about it. Then what you do, you may destroy it. And then you feel so comfortable. Why? Because anymore you can't see it. But that way you can't get the liberation. You create some kind of deep that karma, mental behavior, because your intention you had the desire to go against something. It's going to take you to somewhere else. And when something come to your ear, when you keep hearing, you may turn off, shut down. Then you think, oh, that's good. Why? Because you think that when you keep hearing, that going to, no. What you heard, you start to keep thinking. So then remember very carefully, because of content, that what you see, hear, smell, feel, because of the contact, it's not going to happen, the attachment not going to happen. The very key point of the attachment, you start to keep thinking, repeat the thoughts. So repetition of thoughts is a conscious decision. Remember that. So when you practice meditation, when you're in the present moment, means you have the well-developed mind not to repeat unconsciously. So you are responsible to your mind, and then If you keep thinking something, you start to develop certain kind of mental defilement. But if you don't think about it, so then by the time it becomes powerless. So then try. So whatever happens, whatever you see, hear, smell, taste, feel, try to not to repeat about it, not to think about it again and again and again. Sometimes it itself not going to help. That is where you need the wisdom. Because once you have the wisdom, it will help you to not to repeat about it. So what is the wisdom here you should have? Through the practice, you start to experience deeper level of the change within your body, mind. And once you know the mechanism of change, and once you know this, everything change moment by moment, anymore your mind not going to clinging to things or grasping or holding, and it not going to keep repeating again and again and again. So that's why through meditation, we try to develop our understanding and we develop our clarity to see the change. So once fundamentally you recognize the change, that everything start to become free, release. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left and neck head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Supatveva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment, with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation and exhalation. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen as it is. So when it happens, just experience the change. Do nothing extra. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe and may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward, visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside, to your left side, and to your right side. Downward, and upward. To all six directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance, or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Also, by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chammihi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipattiya Buddham Pujemi Dhammang Pujemi Sanghang Pujemi Addaya Imaya Patipattiya Jati Jara Vyadi Maranam Ha Paribunjissami ඉදම්මේ පුඤ්ඤ කම්මං ආසවක්ඛයා වහං හෝතු සබ්බ දුක්ඛා පමුංචතු. Bless you.